Right, you lovely lot. Are you stuck between buying the new Tesla standard range Model Y and the new Model Y Premium, aka the Model Y long range rear-wheel drive? Is it worth spending the roughly £7,000 to £8,000 or $6,000 to $7,000 difference? This is a difficult question to answer, but there are some telltale signs of when you should and when you shouldn't upgrade the trim. How will I help you, you may ask? Some of you may recall that I did arguably some of the most useful and relatable Tesla Model Y comparisons on YouTube, and whilst I am partially biased on that claim, I do generally believe that my Tesla trim comparisons are like no other comparison video on the internet, and that's just because that I try to tackle the question from a totally different angle, and I actually want to help bring the comparisons to life for you, and I do that by helping you understand where the extra range and the charging speed differences are useful for your own unique circumstances. And by the end of the video, you'll actually be able to simulate this comparison yourself too. I've also done my best to cram in a damn good comparison on the other meaningful factors and differences beyond the range and charging specs, such as differences in the trim level, the sound system, and which one is more suited for winter climates and more. Therefore, this is effectively my 12-minute-ish video, which will be super user friendly, on which these two lower end new Tesla Model Y trims is going to be suited for your own driving requirements, not just mine. Now, if you want a full comparison against the long range all-wheel drive and performance as well, do check out the card/video popping up on the screen now. So whether you're new to Tesla EVs or you're already a Tesla owner looking for a new Model Y, this video should help you address which one is worth the price tag for your needs, and hopefully I've set the scene for the remainder of the video. So before I do kick off the video, I'd appreciate if you could just drop the video a cheeky like, subscribe, and do hit the notification bell and the hype button if you do have it. It all really does help me out. Right folks, let's get straight into it. Starting with the main course, the biggest and most important difference: range and charging speed on these 2026 models. First, the base standard range rear-wheel drive. You're going to get an official 320 miles EPA, and that's 314 miles WLTP in the UK. If you're wondering why there is a difference between the US and the UK, it's not just the cycle testing that they use for the range. In the UK and Europe, it actually has a unique advantage against the other trims. That is because it uses a LFP battery pack. And in plain, simple English, this means you could charge it to 100% every single day with basically zero to worry about degradation. Now, that's going to be a huge practical advantage. Now, my LFP pack in my Model Y right now has lost next to 0 miles after 18 months, so there will be less range degradation concerns with that base model. That will, however, have a toll on peak charging speeds, as it tops out at 170 kilowatts, which is perfectly fine, but it's just not lightning fast. In the US, the standard range there, that does hit actually 225 kilowatts charging speeds, and we'll see less of a difference compared to the new range-busting premium offering, that Model Y long-range rear-wheel drive. That one actually bumps the official range to 337 miles EPA, being 387 miles WLTP. So on paper, that's about 17 miles more, or roughly 5 to 6% extra range, thanks to the more familiar higher energy density of the NMC/NCA battery pack. Now, one downside to the range boost and the peak charging speed is that for this trim, Tesla still recommends that its daily charging range should be between 80 to 90% for battery longevity, just to help reduce degradation concerns over the long term. Now, you can still charge to 100% perfectly fine, but you're advised to do so only when you actually really need it, that being a road trip. In simple terms, the big winner for money with the longer range premium Model Y here is going to be the charging speed. Now, that will deliver up to 250 kilowatts, so it can add range noticeably quicker on longer trips, whereas the range difference is not that much in the US, being 17 miles. It's 73 miles difference here in the UK and Europe, but you are sacrificing that more easy and more practical working with that LFP battery pack that you do get on the base Tesla Model Y. One thing to consider there. Okay, so I've talked about the facts there, but let's introduce some practicality to make the comparison more real, folks. I like to fire up a free app called A Better Route Planner here. And I'm not sponsored by these folks, so it's simply just a tool that I find useful. And what I'll do is I'll do a rather strenuous trip here in the UK, which would be Leicester to Edinburgh. Now that's roughly 306 miles one way, and that's probably a stick in the ocean for you US folks. Now, the standard range rear-wheel drive will do that in one stop with a total charging time of 27 minutes. The long-range rear-wheel drive, that's still going to have one stop, but a total time of charging of just 12 minutes. That's a 15-minute saving on a 300 plus mile journey. Now, the extreme round-trip test of 612 miles non-stop with no overnight charging at the destination, the differences will fare even more. This is where the long-range rear-wheel drive will really kick in with its advantages. So, the standard range rear-wheel drive, that will have 4 stops, being 1 hour and 21 minutes, whereas the long-range rear-wheel drive, that's 3 stops and 57 minutes total. So you are going to save 24 minutes difference, but you're also going to have one extra stop too. So here's a theory that you need to know going into this buying decision. A 300-mile trip at motorway speeds will only add 15 minutes to your overall journey time between the two vehicles. At this point, a larger distance will see the premium Model Y variant is going to utilise and flex its longer initial range and faster charging speeds. If you do these kind of road trips often, it's going to save you a significant amount of time over the course of a year. But in real life practicality, for the average driver, 300-mile plus journeys are probably done a handful of times, resulting in, say an hour's worth of extra charging time per year. And sum that up for your own circumstances and you'll actually understand the fundamentals of if that premium variant is money well spent for you. To help you do this, you can go onto A Better Route Planner yourself, plug in your most common long journey or your worst case yearly road trip, toggle between the two models and you'll instantly see the long range rear wheel drive difference, allowing you to just make a more logical driven decision on range and charging alone. But there's a few more differences that you do need to know about. There are some significant differences to the other specs and driving convenience that you do need to note too, and I'll run this in just a second. But sticking to the average driver, that standard range rear-wheel drive with its daily 100% battery and real-world mileage is going to be more than enough for 90% of people. The average UK driver does around 20 to 30 miles a day. Most months you'll never even see a supercharger as a result. Even on 300 plus mile trips, you're only looking at doing one short stop. And that's only if you don't have charging at your destination, which would eradicate that requirement. The long range rear-wheel drive's biggest advantages only really shine if you regularly do those long round trips with minimal stopping at the destination. For me personally, it's tempting to pocket the 7,000 to 8,000 and buy a standard range every day of the week. That money gets you maybe a nice paint job, wheels, white interior, or even the bigger question here, FSD supervised, fully paid. That leads us to other spec and interior differences that you would miss out on if you opt for the base Model Y. So in no particular order of significance here, as the priorities of these will vary massively depending on the individual circumstances. The sound system in the UK and Europe, both trims actually have the basic audio option. So that's 9 speakers and no subwoofer. In the US though, things are a little bit different. The standard range has a basic audio of 7 to 9 speakers and no sub, but the long range rear-wheel drive gets premium 15 speakers and that subwoofer. So if you're in the States, that's a pretty big win for doing the upgrade. Acceleration wise, the standard range does 6.6 seconds in 0 to 60 and the long range rear-wheel drive does 5.7 seconds. So that's going to be noticeable, but not really night and day. Both are rear-wheel drive only. There's no all-wheel drive advantage. And for that, you'd actually need the extra option, which would be the long-range all-wheel drive. That's an even pricier option. But if you're worried about traction, don't be, because both variants really do hold their own. They have really good traction control. Noting that the standard model does have 18-inch rims versus the premium option, so tyre replacements could also be marginally cheaper. Interior-wise, there's a whole host of changes, such as the lack of center console, the ambient lighting disappears, the ventilated seats are no more, you have no vegan leather option. The glass roof disappears, the rear passenger screen also disappears, the base model lacks the HEPA filter air quality, and more. The driver and passenger convenience as a whole, the experience will just be a notable upgrade in that premium variant. And apart from range and charging speed, you'll notice the big difference here. However, the core Tesla experience, I must stress, will remain because the main screen, the FSD hardware, even the boot's trunk size, they all remain. So generally, the fundamentals are still going to be the same. Battery and motor warranty also differs, so both have 8 years on the battery and motor, but the standard range is guaranteed to 100,000 miles and the long range rear-wheel drive to 120,000 miles. A little minor difference, but a noteworthy one for sure. So is the 7,000 to 8,000 upgrade to the Model Y long range rear-wheel drive worth it? You're basically paying for extra mileage, 250,000 kilowatt charging instead of 170 or 225 in the US, slightly quicker acceleration, and a better quality sound system in the US. But just generally an overall better driving experience all round for the driver and your passengers. As Tesla is increasingly looking like it could be within its FSD era soon, to throw out a spanner in the works, should we say, should you sacrifice the comforts of the premium variant if you're being driven around? Yes, it will be cheaper and you actually could own FSD supervised functionality for the price, but is it that much of a downgrade? Probably not, in my honest opinion, but as a driver's car going from A to B, it does offer tremendous value for its price. So which way are you leaning to now? Are you happy with the standard range, or do you think you're now leaning to that long range rear-wheel drive? Does comfort and convenience influence your purchase, taking into account an FSD driven approach? Let me know in the comment section below. I do try read every one. If you haven't already done so, do check out the links in the video description. Like, subscribe, and do share it with anyone that will find the video beneficial. You folks have been great, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.